Welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Owygen. Purple Mafia is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It's a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. If you survived the game today, if you, I hope you're not in the ICU or anything like that, because I don't know, that was ridiculous. What the heck? The Vikings led 28-0 in this game. I mean, I thought I was going to be talking about a comfortable blowout victory. The Vikings escape Lambeau Field by the grace of God, 31-29. The Vikings do beat the Green Bay Packers and are 4-0 on the regular season. This is the 434th episode of Purple Mafia, and this might be about the 399th time we've had a game that was like, what the hell was that? So, but at least the Vikings won. They won, right? A win's a win. Yeah, they did win, and they got clutch when it mattered, but what the hell, man? What the hell? 28-0. Okay, well, let's go. I guess. I just don't have energy. Okay, well, an amazing start to the game. The Vikings get the ball to open up the game. The next thing you know, the Vikings are, well, after a couple of meh plays, some incomplete passes, then things didn't look all so great. Next thing you know, the Vikings are driving down the field, and then Darnold hits Jordan Addison for a quick strike. 29-yard touchdown, his first play of the regular season with a touchdown. So that's pretty freaking cool. Nice way to start the regular season for Jordan Addison, a 29-yard touchdown reception. Things stayed comfortable for the Vikings. The Green Bay Packers offense kept sputtering. Jordan Love was limping around a little bit off and on as the Vikings were pressuring him and pressuring him and pressuring him throughout the day. And thankfully, we're able to survive. But, Vikings were pressuring him all day. Pat Jones ultimately would get his 5th sack of the season to lead the Minnesota Vikings. Pat Jones the second. I'm sorry to Pat Jones Sr. Pat Jones the second, which I'm sure, he'd like to be Pat Jones the second right now, with 5 sacks on the year. Awesome. Things look so good. The Vikings defense was absolutely flustering and embarrassing the Packers, making them look like, not real good. Not real good for the most part. Justin Jefferson would have a couple of great plays, but then you wouldn't hear from him a whole lot. Jordan Addison, kind of a lot like last year. It's just a couple of big strikes, but ultimately 3 catches for 72 yards. One of them was, again, that quick strike to open up his season for Minnesota. Something that I think is going to annoy a lot of Viking fans is like how, I don't know, it felt like Aaron Jones wasn't utilized as much as you'd like, but luckily he would get some key first downs or at least some clock running plays, hanging onto the ball at the very least. And the Vikings, again, would get certain first downs to help keep the clock moving in times of absolute need. Like, the clock needs to move. Who'd have thunk that it would have to be that way? Also, again, the fact that the Vikings weren't running the ball enough when they had the big lead, which gave the Packers the ball back because the offense started to sputter a bit. But then again, did the offense sputter? Yeah, it did, kind of late in the second quarter, the end of the first half. And the third quarter just sucked. It just sucked. Luckily, neither team scored because the Vikings defense was still, hanging in there and beating up the Green Bay Packers a lot like they did to San Francisco and Houston, not Tennessee. Houston's a lot better than Tennessee, even though they're both, one's a current Houston and the other's a former Houston. Whatever that means, right? Unless you're old enough to remember the Houston Oilers, which thankfully I am. That meant the Vikings defense was going to get increasingly tired, which is not a good thing. And then all of a sudden, things started to change a little bit for the Green Bay offense. But before all of that, when the Vikings had that 28-point lead, Vikings defense sputtered the Packers into another punt. Yep, everything's going to be fine. We're up 28-0. Maybe we can get a couple of first downs and get out of the first half up 28-0. Get a first down or something, run the clock out and get out of here safe. 28-point lead. The Packers are probably going to come out, maybe make a couple of, try to do something. And when it didn't work, next thing you know, you'll be seeing the backup quarterback in there. And I was even saying to myself as I was watching and listening that the Packers should take Jordan Love out because they're down by a lot. And, you don't want something crazy to happen to Jordan Love. If I'm the Packers, I take Jordan Love out and we fold here. Whoa, San Francisco just did what the Vikings did, kind of. Well, maybe. Did the Patriots recover? This is the Super Bowl we all wanted the most. This is the second group, by the way. I know I'm distracting myself here in the middle of a show. Real smart, right? The Patriots and the 49ers, the Super Bowl that never happened. Oh, I wish it did. That would have been fun. Patriots did recover the ball. See, like fumbling a kickoff in this case where it was the Vikings. So the previous play, well, previous time the Vikings had the ball anyway, Powell was banged up a bit. Looked like kind of like maybe a head, a neck, kind of something. Just he was hit in the face, I guess. Kind of banged up, and they didn't want to mess with things. So he put Jalen Naylor out there. Not Jordan Naylor, but Jalen Naylor. I almost said Jordan. And he signals for a fair catch and watches the ball. He started lunging for the ball at the last second when he realized the ball wasn't going where he wanted it to go. You're up by 28, Mickey frickin' points. Let the ball bounce. F returning the ball, even if it's not going to be a touchback. Just screw it. It's in the 20. Oh, darn, it's the end of the world. You're up by 28, though. And we're spelling it Though, not that Tho crap. You're up by 28, and you try to signal for a fair catch, meaning you have to catch the ball. And if you don't catch it, what happens? Green Bay ball. And what happened? Green Bay ball. Isn't that great? Shades of the 41 donut game when the Vikings fumbled 2 kickoffs in a row to open up the bleeping NFC Championship game. Doesn't get better than that, does it? Just doesn't get any better. That's just wonderful, right? Great way to start an NFC Championship game when we had our hopes up. We were even favorites on the road in that game. Boy, anybody picking the Giants to cover in that one? No comment on that. No comment necessary at all. No, not even necessary. The Giants covered 3 minutes into that game. It was like a joke. 2 seconds into the game. Excuse me. Why am I talking about 41 donuts? Sorry. But no, that just plays like that. You just knew, and you hear all those obnoxious, jackass, annoying Packer fans in Lambeau Field with all that noise. Here we go again. Bad words, naughty words. What are you doing, Jalen Naylor? What are you doing, man? We love you, Jalen. You're a wonderful third receiver. What are you doing, man? Are you trying to make something spectacular happen because Jordan Addison's back and, oh, no, I got to prove myself somehow, some way here? And you do something like that? Packers score on the next play. Yep. Just wonderful. Yep, so 28-0. It's now 28-7 because, the guy, after missing a couple of kicks, a 37-yarder and a 49-yarder, respectively, the Green Bay Packer kicker, that would be Narveson. Rolls right off your tongue. Braden Narveson. Wow. All right. Well, he made all of his extra points, and he missed both of his field goals, 37 and 49, respectively. But at least he made his extra points. Whatever. Packers' scoring opportunities were all lost until that play. The Packers got in the end zone on one bleeping play because our returner decided to get cute. Getting cute on special teams it's a cardinal sin. You just can't do it. You just can't. You just can't do it, okay? Just don't. Why does this have to happen? Why do you want to hurt me? Seriously, why? Why do you want to hurt us? That's awful. Why am I not seeing what I want to see here? But it was just one bleeping play. That's all it took. Oh, disgusting. Sorry, I want this. There we go. Now everything is back where I wanted it to be. Jaden Reed. Yep, 15-yard play. It was just hike, basically, whoop, touchdown, wonderful, fade to the right or whatever we call it, whatever it was a touchdown instantly for Green Bay. 20 seconds remaining in the half. Again, did I mention something about just letting the ball roll and not calling for a fair catch? Because once you call for a fair catch, it's a live ball. Yeah, Robert Smith's first play of his career, they put him on special teams as a return. He called for a fair catch, and I remember the Vikings lost to a crappy Los Angeles Raiders team. Maybe they weren't that crappy, but it was a terrible start to a season. First play of the frickin' season, and then you call for a fair catch and just watch the ball bounce. Or in what's-his-name's case, Naylor, he just tried to get cute. Just let it go, dude. Let it go. Let the clock run out. That's all you had to do. Just kneel. That's all you had to do. Yeah, you don't have to kick a 56-yard field goal like PA said against the Saints all those years ago. You could just feel it. Oh boy, this better not be one of those. Oh, it eventually kind of sort of did become one of those. But thankfully the Vikings defense kept the Packers offense at bay, but the Vikings offense didn't do bleep squat either. And Darnold started to get banged up, the knee and all that. It started to get scary. You started worrying. The Vikings offense was not anything special. You did have a drive down the field in the third quarter. Looked like the Vikings, okay, now everything's going to be okay. And then Sam Darnold throws an INT in the end zone again. It's like the third time, I think. I swear, like, what has he thrown? 4 interceptions this year? I swear at least 2 or 3 of them have been in the end zone. It's like, after a really promising drive, it's like, blankety blanket. Come on, man. God darn it. So that was extremely frustrating. Luckily, that's the only grape jelly on Sam Darnold's shirt. So that's a good thing. But, yeah, wow. You know, that would have potentially iced the game. Potentially, because the Vikings would have been up, 35-14 or something. Yeah, no, 35-7. It would have been 35-7, which is still an outright blowout. And then the Packers offense started to get confident. They started completing passes. The Vikings defense started to get tired. They started to get out of sync. And you go from, then it's 28-14. Next thing you know, the Packers score again, almost immediately, because I don't even, I can't handle it. Just more mistakes. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Another turnover. I don't know. You just want to just beat your head into the ground. You're almost crying, with a turnover, with a strip sack. Sam Darnold, strip sack. It was like right after the Packers made it 28-14. Pretty much the next play, or was it the play after the next play? Sam Darnold strip sack from behind. Green Bay ball in the red zone. And it was like the next play again, pretty much. It's just like, what the hell? What the hell? And this is again after it was 28-14. It starts to get very concerning. And then you get that happening. Yeah, you just feel sick. It just all happened so quickly. So quickly. 28-14, and then the Packers go for 2. I don't know if it's arrogance or what's on their mind, but they figure this Vikings defense is reeling now. We're gonna put them in their place. Ha ha. 28-22. They made the 2-point conversion. Tucker Kraft, who had just made the catch. Kraft macaroni and cheese. Well, yes, Kraft macaroni and yeah, it's okay. I like Stouffer's better. Sorry. Tucker Stouffer's is a little better in my opinion. So, anyhow, the Vikings then would put together a pretty solid drive after that. And I don't like to get into the whole story of the game necessarily. But then again, in this game, you kind of do. That was so dramatic. Thankfully, the Vikings started to finally play clutch again. You finally started to see some aggressiveness. The Vikings did not leave their identity. They did run the ball a little bit. But in this case, it's like, just get the damn ball down the damn field. Like, whatever it is. Because we can't have this 2-yard cloud of dust bull crap. You got to get the ball down the field, and the Vikings did on a couple of big plays. You start finding Justin Jefferson, who had made some huge plays early, very early in the game, including a touchdown. It helped get the Vikings up more and more as the game progressed, pardon me. Sam Darnold ultimately threw 3 touchdowns in the game, but there would be no more touchdowns for the Minnesota Vikings in the second half of the game or anywhere after that third touchdown in the second quarter when the Vikings went up 28-0. That was the completion to Justin Jefferson. Jordan Addison also actually ran one into the end zone. That was a cool play from 7 yards out. So Addison would have been really good for fantasy ballers today, just in case he's a free agent in somebody's league out there. I'm guessing he's not. You just put him on the IL or whatever on your league until he's activated, and you can have someone else take his place for a little while if need be. In that case, kind of like what I'm doing with TJ Hawkinson. So he's been on my pup or whatever, and he'll be activated one of these days. But yes, Vikings finally get clutch. They start going, completing passes. Justin Jefferson making some great plays. There were some tough calls here and there. The interception that Sam Darnold threw actually wasn't an interception, but I don't know. It just felt like they weren't going to overturn it, even though it shouldn't have been an interception. The guy was out of bounds, but at least from what a lot of us saw, the guy should have been out of bounds on that one. But luckily, somehow, some way, Sam Darnold again, when he looked as flustered as heck, he was going to start making mistakes. He was going to start missing on plays, and he did miss in a key opportunity to get a first down to Jalen Naylor. He underthrew him in a play that would have helped. Again, another situation where the Vikings could have put the game away when we didn't because of, it was underthrown pass by Sam Darnold in that case. You could argue Jalen Naylor maybe still could have caught it, but I don't know, whatever the case is. Just whatever, It was a combination of frustration there at the end of the day. Yep, again, the Super Bowl that we never got to see. Brady versus a really good Niners team. That would have been fun. Yeah, anyhow. Even though, yeah, let's move off of that. Sorry. I don't want to think about some of the political crap that went on with San Francisco 10 years ago and stuff. What else is going on? Yes. Sam Darnold again. That's the one thing. He was clutch when it mattered. And that's extremely encouraging that Sam Darnold, despite being banged up and despite being flustered, as the Packers defense started to get more and more aggressive and started to get more and more confident, and the protection wasn't as good, and this was happening and that was happening. Again, after the strip sack, that stuff is devastating. You know, when you see strip sacks and you're already, you've been losing momentum pretty rapidly, like you've been bleeding out pretty bad, and then you get a strip sack. That's the ultimate bleed out right there. But somehow, some way, Sam Darnold was able to kind of gather it all together and get the job done down the stretch. But at the end of the day, another guy who was getting beat and hammered the entire day is Jordan Love. Went from a guy who struggled early on, throwing interceptions and such, but then got red hot, ultimately throwing 4 touchdown passes in Jordan Love with 54 attempts, 389 yards, 4 touchdowns and 3 total interceptions. Sam Darnold, 275 on 28 attempts, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. A quarterback rating of 123.4. That is not a typo, and that is not me being funny. 123.4. Wow, I like it. Rolls right off your tongue, doesn't it? It really does. What was I getting to? Yes, the young man. Well, yeah, he's kind of the young veteran, but young still, for the most part. Was getting torched throughout the game at times, but then had some of the biggest plays of the day. Byron Murphy Jr., who had been getting beat over and over and over again by Jordan Love throughout the course of the game, would get the biggest interception. A key interception. Did not ice the game, but it killed a drive that could have maybe possibly won the game for Green Bay. Possibly. Could have won the game. Possibly. I mean, it's a scary situation. Packers, well, thankfully, again, after that big drive where the Vikings almost possibly could have gotten in the end zone, had then been able to complete the play to Naylor, maybe the Vikings would have had multiple opportunities to get in the end zone with only like 2 or 3 yards to go. First and goal, it would have been awesome at like the 3-yard line or so. But yeah, that just wasn't meant to be. Byron Murphy Jr. with the key interception. Again, that didn't ice the game because there was still plenty of time left, but it put the Packers in a very precarious position where they started to have to use timeouts. Byron Murphy Jr. also had a huge deflection later in the game as well, on the next Packers drive that helped, again, ice things and put the Vikings in victory formation. At the end of the day, my heavens. Oh, my heavens. Harrison Smith was beat pretty badly on multiple occasions. It was extremely frustrating and had a lot of us pretty pissed off at the end of the day. Shaq Griffin was wonderful. The pass deflection after pass deflection, 3 total pass deflections and interception as well. That helped get things going in the right direction. Well, early on, that put the Packers in a very, very precarious position. Camu Gregor-Hill was the first interception of the game, and that Byron Murphy Jr. was the third. And ultimately, that was the one that didn't seal the game, but again, put the Packers in more and more jeopardy and put the Vikings in a more comfortable position versus where we were for the longest time in that second half, particularly into the fourth quarter. It was scary as hell. And I'm saying that with full sincerity. I'm sure all of you agree. That was scary as hell. Stupid scary. Stupid. Cam Bynum had some big plays, a couple of pass deflections. Josh Metellus got nailed with a big pass interference. That was extremely annoying. But what are you going to do? I mean, it was, I guess, the right call. It is what it is. Blake Cashman was great early. Was good most of the time. Obviously, 11 total tackles. 6 of them were solo. At the end of the day, only 1 sack, and it went to Pat Jones II. Green Bay's Quay Walker and Keeson Nixon rolls right off your tongue, getting sacks for the Green Bay Packers, which scared the heck out of us. Rashawn Gary had some good moments, and he had some not-so-good moments. But, again, a scary as hell game. The Vikings were outscored 29-3 in the second half, but thank God for that 3, because we needed every single one of those 3 to win the bleeping game. Ryan Wright was pretty damn good for the most part, except for a single touchback. Doggone it. But a great game generally for Ryan Wright. Daniel Whalen was insane. 2 in the 20, 74 long. No touchbacks for that guy, averaging 60 yards a punt. He was brutal. And, of course, one of those punts, of course, again, was a fumble that changed the game in a big way. A kickoff that was basically handed back to the Green Bay Packers. Josh Oliver. Why did I say John? I have no idea. Sounds like an old pilgrim or something. But Josh Oliver was able to bury the ball when the Packers tried to get the onside kick to have one more shot. And Sam Darnold went into victory formation. Thank you, Lord. The Vikings would escape a game that would have been one of the most frustrating, vomit-inducing, maybe not vomit-inducing, but for some people, TV-breaking, window-shattering, lamps breaking, I don't know what the heck else to say, furniture rearranging games. I'll just add it to the list. I was going to say of all time. No, just add it to the list. Because the Vikings had quite a few frustrating games last year. Had a ton of frustrating games in 2021. And that stupid Giants game in 2020, holy crap. And one close game after another in 2022. Despite the fact the Vikings won 13 games that year. They won them by a combined like 20 points. Like, geez. Jeez, that's what it felt like. Oh, yay, we beat them by 1. Oh, we were down 33-0 to the Colts. Yes, it was a great comeback, but the Colts are crap. Like, they literally are something horses step on. Yeah, they lived up to that part of the Colts name. Not trying to trash horseshoes or anything, but, well, what is a horseshoe? It gets trampled on by a horse foot, horse's hoof. That's what the Vikings were getting done. You know, I mean, that's what the Vikings came back on. Something that gets trampled on by horse hooves. Yay. Well, at least they won the game, though. Dang it. And today, yeah, yay, at least they won the game. Green Bay is definitely a good team. Jordan Love got his head out of somewhere after struggling really bad because the Vikings defense was fantastic. But, geez, I mean, we almost made him look like Patrick Mahomes in the second half, as Mahomes has had multi-turnover type games, but then comes back to win, no matter what. Oh, another 300 or 400-yard game and another 4 touchdown passes, despite the grape jelly all over his jersey. You know, that means interceptions and turnovers. Yeah, I know, you've probably heard that 50,000 times. But, yeah, they almost had us. But thank God Byron Murphy Jr. came up clutch when it mattered, and thank God Sam Darnold came up clutch when it mattered, and, of course, Justin Jefferson came up clutch when it mattered. Not the easiest choice for the Fran Tarkington Award for this episode. Aaron Jones did have 22 rushes, 93 yards on the ground, along of only 17. But still, 17. I mean, I'll take 17 from anybody. But just it didn't happen all that much. Jordan Addison, absolutely great throughout the game today. No doubt about it. Johnny Munt with a couple catches. Josh Oliver, gosh, I mean, he might even be a candidate for the Fran just because he caught both of the balls coming his way. Good blocking. And, of course, just swallowing that onside kick, saving the day and wrapping things up just for the sake of that. Just let's get the out of here, you know, that kind of thing. That's kind of what it was like at the end of the day. I think it should go to a defensive player. Don't you? Don't you think it should go to a defensive player? I think it should. Shaq Griffin obviously was a menace throughout the game. Only 3 tackles in the game because what's his name stopped throwing the ball his way because he had 3 pass deflections, him being Shaq Griffin. And you know what? Shaq Griffin is going to bring home the Fran Tarkington Award for today. He's going to bring home the Fran Tarkington Award. Yeah. Honorable mentions can go all over the place. You know, Blake Cashman, great overall day, 11 total tackles. Camu Gruger Hill, KGH. I mean, you love what he can do out there in spurts. Metellus, frustrating, this and that. Bullard had some moments. Harrison Smith was beat a lot. I don't know. That last drive, which got the Packers in scoring range in like 5 seconds and made it so close, it was so disgusting and so irritating. Yeah, that was annoying. That put the Vikings, put the Packers in position to, that was that last touchdown to Devion Wicks when they got to that 29 points. That was extremely irritating, the way the Packers got down the field so easily. Harrison Smith was beat on a 44-yard play on that one, but I don't know, whatever. He's not going to bring home any Christian Ponder Memorial. It's got to go to Jalen Nailor. What are you bleeping doing, man? What are you doing? I mean, Jalen Nailor, we were up by 28, and we won by 2. We were up by 28 and won by 2. We being the Vikings, of course. Since I'm not supposed to say we, it's better to say the Vikings, because it's a podcast, trying to be somewhat of a media here and not just a rah-rah show, because I'm not about rah-rah. I'm about being an honest, objective host of a Minnesota Vikings podcast. That's what I'm trying to do at the end of the day. Still a great win, regardless. It's just irritating what kind of precarious position the Vikings put themselves in when they should have blown this team out. Kind of like the 49ers game. I mean, it was scary all the way to the end. It's like, okay, we're still ahead. The Vikings are still ahead. But then, I don't know. I mean, things could have happened. That could have been very devastating in this one. It would have been a really bad loss. So, luckily, the Vikings hung on and got the job done. Jalen Naylor, Christian Ponder Memorial, urban legend. Well, there's all kinds of urban legends. Like, how do you give up, 89 yards in 3 seconds? It's like, come on. It wasn't literal, but it felt like it. That's kind of like an urban legend. How do you give up a 28-point lead? My gosh, you outscore a team 28-0 almost throughout the first half, and then get beat 29-3 in the second. That's an urban legend if I've ever seen one. At the end of the day, but again, clutch kick by Will Reichert on that big drive late that helped kind of sort of seal the deal to put the Packers in a tougher deal and more of a sticky wicket, as we'll be talking about sticky wickets for next week, as the Vikings are heading to London for an 8:30 a.m. game. You think noon's early for some of you out there? 8:30 a.m. Let's get it done. I think it's good to get the game going. It's fun, and then you get the rest of the day to do whatever you want, I guess, including podcast, I suppose. But Will Reichert's been wonderful. He's another person that deserves tons of credit for what he has been as a rookie. Been wonderful. Stephon Gilmore had a huge pass deflection as well. Didn't have a single tackle in the game. It's, again, Jordan Love was going at Byron Murphy Jr. nonstop, and eventually did not work out super well for Jordan Love as things progressed. Byron Murphy Jr. does deserve honorable mention for the Fran Tarkenton Award, but I'm going to give it to Shaq Griffin. But again, a very strong honorable mention for Byron Murphy for getting the job done when it mattered most. Kind of like, Sam Darnold in the same way, as he was getting beat up a bit late after a sexy start to the game. But thank God the Vikings do escape. With that, we're going to take a quick break and look at the New York Jets, as the sticky wicket will be in England next week. Minnesota Vikings will be in England. Hopefully there won't be a sticky wicket and the Vikings win by a lot of points. As for what a sticky wicket is, it is a tough situation, just in case you're wondering what the heck a sticky wicket is. That's British talk. And we'll talk about that sticky wicket as we head into segment number 2. And we are back here on Purple Mafia, segment number 2, previewing the New York Jets in London. And of course, looking around the league first and NFC North Roundup and NFL Roundup, generally speaking. Again, let me know your opinions and how you feel about this segment. I enjoy it, but if you think I'm babbling too much about other teams, just let me know. I mean, I rarely get feedback about stuff like that. So just in case you want to voice your opinion about something. Oh, boy. Well, yeah, I'm just looking at something right now. It's just like, But, yeah, I'm starting a little bit later than I would normally like. A little bit later. It's like already the second quarter with the Sunday Night Football flashing on the screen. An East Coast matchup in Baltimore, Maryland. The Baltimore Ravens hosting the Buffalo Bills, leading 14-3. 14-3. Ravens looking pretty good. They were another team that started 0-2 on the season. A very old-fashioned matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants on Thursday night, September 26th. Hard to believe September 26th is that many days ago already. It's just weird. Jeez, we're almost at the end. So next time we talk, it'll be October already. Weird. Cowboys win 20-15 in MetLife Stadium. Get Met. It pays. Giants drop to 1-3. Cowboys go up to 2-2. Mike Zimmer's defense finally keeps the team down to 15. So, yeah. Daniel Jones, mediocre kind of a game. Did get a bunch of yards. Attempted 40, threw the ball 40 times. 281 total yards and an INT. The Dallas Cowboys' run defense was absolutely fantastic. Devin Singletary only 1.7 yards a carry on 14 rushes. He was absolutely stymied for a long of 5. That's it. Somebody named Rico Dowdle, if I'm saying it correctly. If I'm not, well, sorry. 11 carries for 46 yards. The run game just wasn't working that great in this one. Dak Prescott, insanely efficient. He's been hearing my Purple Mafia talk bad about him, and he's like, all right, you son of a blank up there in Minnesota. 27 attempts, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 125.5. CD Lamb. Not DVD Lamb, but CD Lamb, or Blu-ray Lamb, or whatever you want to call him. 7 catches on 8 targets, 98 yards, including a 55-yard dilly with a touchdown. And Dowdle also had a receiving touchdown, 15 yards, catch and scamper type of dilly. Brennan Aubrey was decent, making a couple field goals and missing one, and he is on my fantasy team. Yay, I know we're all happy for me about that, but, well, you have to be happy about something. There's another one I'm not too happy regarding fantasy, because I blew it. I blew a golden opportunity. Sounds familiar around these parts. Doggone it. Frickin' doggone it. You know, I had Jaden Daniels versus, Jaden Daniels is on the team, right? And, Kyrie, whatever his name is. Oh, that other guy what's his name again? Kyler Murray. Yeah, well, he wasn't bad in the game. Attempted 22 passes, 141 yards, or 42 yards and a touchdown. Oh, sorry. Jaden Daniels, not Jaden McDaniels, only had 4 passes that were not completed. 26 of 30. Wow. He did have unfortunately, he did have the grape jelly stain on the shirt. 1 interception, 1 touchdown, but also, where am I? Yeah, also ran the ball in for a touchdown. Had a ton of fantasy points on the day. Didn't help at the end of the day. So, yes, Jaden Daniels is my starting quarterback going forward. That's the end of my press conference as Fantasy Purple Mafia Podcast. That's literally the name of the team. In the past, I used to go by something else. I don't even remember it anymore because it's been so many years. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that memorable. And some years it changed. But, the Purple Mafia Podcast is the name of the team. And, I unfortunately am not 4-0 like the Vikings. I'm 3-1. So I did not win my 4th game. So that's unfortunate. Not a very good week for my club. And I know you care so much. I'm sorry. Yes, I don't need to get into that too much. Let's get to so there's Baltimore, so on and so forth. Monday Night Football, the Miami Dolphins host the Tennessee Titans. Dolphins trying to get their 2nd win of the year, 1-2. Tennessee Titans trying to get their 1st win of the year, 0-3. That's a Monday night special there. Not really. The earlier one, 6:30 on ESPN. On ABC, this one should be significantly better. Probably will get way more views. 7:15 p.m. Central Daylight. You get the idea. Detroit Lions host the Seattle Sea Chickens. Seattle Seahawks. Seattle is 3-0. Detroit 2-1 on ABC. Yeah. D-E-F. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, okay, that was really cute, wasn't it? Okay, anyhow, another Deep South rivalry, classic rivalry, the Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. Not quite as dominant and crazy like they were in the first 2 weeks. Thankfully, the Vikings generally have kept their winning ways. And then they were dominating, but found a way to have a close game, just like the San Francisco. That was the Vikings, of course, segment number 1. Hope you already heard that. Kirk Cousins attempted 35 and completed only 20. A very mediocre Kirk Cousins performance. No touchdowns and an INT. Yuck. Derek Carr, no touchdowns and an INT. Almost identical numbers, actually, except the completion percentage was higher for Derek Carr. That's the one difference, which brought the quarterback rating up to 82.8. Yay. Kirk Cousins' quarterback rating, 68.5. But who won the football game? The Falcons. All right. Alvin Kamara, crazy Kamara, with 1 touchdown on 77 carries, 19 rushes, so on and so forth. He did not get in the end zone with a catch, but did have 7 catches, 42 yards for some of those screen type of plays and such. Chris Olave with 8 receptions, 87 yards. And Rashid Shaheed rolls right off your tongue. Yeah, Rashid Shashid, 8 catches, 83 yards, no touchdowns, and he lost the ball. Lost a fumble in the game. Lattimore, yep, gotta like Lattimore. 1 sack only by Peyton Turner of the Saints, and the Falcons had only 1 sack as well. D. Elford, good for him. Not a very good matchup. Both teams are 500 now. And who's going to win the division? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, they're probably losing the first round anyway. At least I would think so. The Colts were crushing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Still ended up winning the football game. No, they did not blow a massive lead this time. Yeah, well, but Anthony Richardson's out for the 19,000th time now. No, he's out again. At least I believe so. Another injury. Joe Flacco is alive. Joe Flacco liveth againeth. And he was pretty good. Anthony Richardson only attempted 4 passes before going out. Actually super efficient with 71 yards and 3 completions. That's pretty good. Joe Flacco came in and was kind of similar to Cleveland Browns' Joe Flacco. He's become an ageless wonder. What's that guy that I keep forgetting? What the heck was his name? The guy that went to a million teams and made a lot of money over the years. Doggone it! Now I'm forgetting his name. He's been on 8 teams, 9 teams, 10 teams. I know he was on the Dolphins at one point. Gosh, I bet you, yeah, somebody's kicking me in the face right now here and screaming at the podcast, screaming at the iPod right now or whatever device you're using, Android phone. Joey, it's this guy, you idiot! Come on. What was his name? I'm blanking. It's been in my head for a while, but yeah, Flacco's becoming one of those. 2 touchdowns, 105 quarterback rating, not bad. And the Colts finally win a game, and the Steelers finally lose a game. No, the Colts win their second game, sorry. And the Steelers finally lose a game, but not a bad performance by the Steelers, making a valiant comeback that came up just short, something that we talk about a lot here in Minnesota. But thankfully, the Vikings did not come up just short. The Packers did. It took almost the whole game for Justin Fields to finally get someone in the end zone, but he did throw for 300 yards. That's pretty good, actually. 22 completions of 34. Not sexy or anything, but no interceptions by Justin Fields and a touchdown. Also 55 yards on the ground. And a lot of people out there have been talking about that. Fields is a guy, you don't really want to give up on. So the Steelers might have at least somewhat of a quarterback of the future at the moment. Yeah, I guess. I know you might think, oh, come on, Joey, what a stereotype of comparison. But maybe kind of like Cordell Stewart a little bit. I just saw Cordero Patterson. That's what threw me off there. But maybe kind of like Cordell Stewart a little tiny bit. More athletic, than really necessarily throwing the ball a whole lot. But this time Justin Fields did get 300 yards passing, so that's pretty damn good, actually. So, good job, man. Good job. More like Steve Young this time around in the yardage department and stuff. Because Steve Young threw for a lot of yards. Anyhow, Tampa versus the Eagles. This was an NFC Championship game, wasn't it, back in the day? Back in the day, the Eagles, I think this was the first of 3 consecutive NFC title games the Eagles went to when they finally got into the Super Bowl. Only to lose by a small margin to the Patriots. Andy Reid, of course, coach of the Eagles during those days, and he looked more like Mike Ditka back then. Now he looks like a fire chief or something. Of course, Jets and Broncos, that's coming up later. That's the, what's that stupid guy's name? Wilson Bowl? I don't know, that backup quarterback. I don't know how I get that. Zach Wilson. That's the Zach Wilson Bowl. I don't know who the heck I'm talking about. But Tampa Bay kind of beating up on the Eagles pretty good. Sort of similar to what happened to the Eagles back in 2002 when the Tampa Bay Bucks beat them and went to the Super Bowl and defeated the Oakland Raiders pretty badly in that one. Really wanted Rich Gannon to get a ring, but Brad Johnson did, and that's okay. Brad Johnson's good guy too, and former Viking quarterback around the same time in the Denny Green at the beginning there. Baker Mayfield threw for 347 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Good job. Jalen Hurts did not throw an interception, but he did fumble the ball and only threw for 158 yards on 30 attempts. What's up with that? Saquon Barkley finally did something. Got to 84 yards, so the numbers went up a little bit, but did not get in the end zone, and that did not help me. But I know you're not listening for that. Baker Mayfield ran the ball in the end zone as well for his 3rd total touchdown of the day. Those rushing touchdowns are worth more than passing in some leagues, and in other leagues they're not. Mike Evans with 8 catches and 94 yards and a touchdown. Good for him. Yay. Jalen Hurts ran the ball in and lost the ball as well, like I talked about with the fumble-itis. Okay, let's keep going. But Tampa whooping all up on the Eagles. And things not so cute in Philadelphia right now. Of course, a lot of people hating on the head coach because I guess he is kind of a jackass. I don't know. I don't know. I guess he is. I don't know. I still wanted them to beat the frickin' Chiefs, though. I think Kelsey's a bigger jackass than the Eagles coach. I might be in the minority, and I might not. Frankly, I don't care. Whatever. I don't like the Chiefs or Kelsey. Next, Cincinnati Bengals finally win a game. It took half our life, and the Carolina Panthers actually had a better record than the Cincinnati Bengals coming into this one, if you can believe that. Come on, Cincinnati. I was picking you to win the Super Bowl this year. Do you realize that? How ridiculous that is? Bank of America Stadium in North Carolina. The Bengals win 34-24. Congratulations on finally doing something right, for crying out bleeping loud. They should have beat the Chiefs a few weeks ago, but they didn't. Andy Dalton with his usual grape jelly stain, which he did not have last week. Chuba Hubbard, another one that rolls right off your tongue. 18 rushes, 104 yards, and did get into the end zone. Tecmo Bowl football right there, almost 6 yards a carry for old Chuba. Not like Chumba Casino or anything. Chase Brown was also chasing Tecmo Bowl numbers with 80 yards and only 15 rushes for 5.5 a carry. Pretty awesome. And got on the end zone twice. Fantasy ballers loving that guy right now. Jamar Chase, 3 catches, 85 yards, and did get in the end zone. Joe Burrow with the grape jelly stain and 2 touchdowns, 232 yards. Still not the Joe Burrow we remember. Evan McPherson, one of the best kickers I've ever seen. 2 field goals made with no misses and made all 4 of his extra points. Evan McPherson is an awesome kicker, if that's okay to say. Cincinnati Bengals and Carolina Panthers combined for, are you ready? 0 sacks. 0 sacks. Xavier Woods was burned a bit in the game, but he also got an interception, so good for him. Congratulations to Xavier Woods, but did not win the football game in North Carolina. Last week's opponent facing the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm trying to think, did these two teams come in the league around the same? Nope, they came in the league with the Carolina Panthers. Houston came in right after Cleveland. Houston is still the newest team in the NFL, aren't they? It's been a long time since there's been expansion in the NFL. Houston is still the newest team. It's about 20 years ago, right? 2004. Yeah, that's 20 years ago already. Houston Texans, the most creative name in the history of sports. The logo's good for the most part. Kind of a Texas Longhorn look, and then the Texas flag, design kind of on the, Longhorn head, whatever. That type of thing. It's not bad. Color scheme on the uniforms, let's just say I like the Oilers better. That would have been really cool, but it didn't happen. I don't know, stupid. C.J. Stroud, and I'm comparing Jaden Daniels, by the way, to this year's C.J. Stroud. I was thinking that today. Jaden Daniels is this year's C.J. Stroud, and Caleb Williams is this year's Bryce Young, it looks like. Both number 1 overall picks that are not all that spectacular so far. The number 2 overall picks are spectacular, at least from what we can tell. C.J. Stroud, way better than last week, making up for any yards he didn't get last week. Of course, he did get plenty of yards, didn't he? But, at the end of the day, the Vikings kept him out of the end zone quite a bit, and Stroud had some turnovers because that defense was freaking good. No turnovers per day for Stroud or Trevor Lawrence, who was a number 1 overall pick a few years back as well, as none of us have forgotten that because we heard about it every 10 seconds about what a can't-miss superstar, Steve Young in his prime, whatever the heck you were comparing him to. Peyton Manning, maybe, that kind of guy. It's not happened yet. I don't know. It really hasn't. Just that one year when the Jaguars got in the playoffs and he looked pretty damn good some of those games. Sorry. Both quarterbacks, no interceptions, and I don't believe either one of them lost the ball, and no, they did not. Good for you. Tank Bigsby doing a little better than Travis Etienne Jr. with 4.5 a carry for Travis Etienne, 50 yards and 11 rushes. Tank Bigsby, though, with a 58-yard scamper, did not get in the end zone. 90 total yards and only 7 rushes. Cam Akers was the main running back The lead tailback, as they say in the old days, the good old days. Cam Akers with 13 rushes for 53 yards, about 4 yards a carry. Nothing spectacular, but certainly not bad, and we would have taken it here last year because you know what? Last year, numbers like that, even without a touchdown, which he did not have today, we would have been like, whew, well, at least he did something. Because last year, do you remember? Did you see the games last year, guys and gals? Did you see that? Did you see what happened? Well, yeah, it was bad. Oh, it was bad. Oh, it was bad. I'm still having nightmares last year. Oh. Well, we handed the ball off. Okay, well, I think we gained a yard there. All right, pass. Oh, we handed the ball again. He lost 3 yards, and the ball's and the other team is pointing the other way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madison. Really appreciate that. When Vikings were actually winning that Bronco game pretty comfortably, and yeah, kind of felt like that stupid fumble by Naylor today. Like all of a sudden you hear the crowd cheering really loud, and you're like, what the bleep just happened? Like you just want to just shatter the TV screen when crap like that happens. Yes, we're up 28-0, but you just knew. You just knew what was going to happen. You knew it. You knew it was going to be one of those stupid nail biters that had no business being one. Ugh, you just seethe on the inside thinking about it, don't you? Yep. Well, anyway, Houston won the football game. Jacksonville is 0-4. What the heck is up with the Jaguars? Houston Texans win only by 4 points, though, against the Jacksonville, whatever they are. I don't know. They stink. It wasn't a poorly played game. Houston really had to fight their ass off and won at the very last minute, pretty much. So credit to the Jaguars for kind of winning the game, almost, and then they weren't able to stop C.J. Stroud in the final drive. Dare Ogun, we'll just call him. It was a short pass, and Ogun Bowale, that wasn't that hard. Got in the end zone. Congratulations. And the Texans win by 4 with some clutch play late. Neither quarterback was bad in the game, but it's just, Stroud is a little better because he was a little better. He just was better, and he was clutch in the end. Anyhow, San Francisco versus the New England Patriots, the Super Bowl we never got to see. And boy, oh boy, in my opinion, I would have loved to have seen it. I would have. Just for the sake of 49ers versus Patriots in a Super Bowl. Like, say, 2011, maybe Alex Smith versus Tom Brady. Could have been kind of cool, but it just didn't happen, instead of the freaking Giants. God, another miracle play. Or like Manningham, like putting his foot out at the last second. I think that's who it was. Was it Manningham? Or no, Manningham was on the Giants, and he wound up with the Niners later. I forgot who it was that messed up and had his foot out there. And it was one of those kickoff mistakes, one of those that screw up everything. We don't know anything about that here, though. I have no idea what that is. It's just a rumor. 30-13, San Francisco all over the Patriots. Maybe that would have happened. Who knows? Probably not. Patriots might have and probably would have won that game, but who knows? It would have been, and say if it was a 2012 Super Bowl with the Patriots, yeah, it would have been, what's his name? Yeah, that guy, Kaepernick, would have been the quarterback of the Niners versus Brady. Would have been interesting, though. Definitely got to admit that. But Baltimore ended up getting the job done there. Baltimore knocking the Patriots out that year. Both quarterbacks, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Fairly identical yards, except Purdy was much more efficient, generally speaking. 32 attempts by Brissett and only 168 yards, where Purdy attempted 27 and got 288. Jordan Mason, what a stud of a running back. Tech Mobile Football, I'm going to keep calling him what he is. I mean, the 49ers are just blessed to have Jordan Mason as a running back. 24 rushes, 123 yards, 5 yards a carry, a touchdown. Awesome, man. Awesome. Brandon Ayuk, only 2 catches, 48 yards, but Juwan Jennings with 3 catches and 88 yards and a TD. George Kittle was the only guy to score for the Niners in terms of, receiving and cute stuff like that. Jake Moody made all of his kicks, and so did Joey Sly. Ooh, sounds like me. No, not really. Kevin Givens with 2.5 sacks for the Niners. That pass rush was really aggressive. The Patriots did only get 1 sack by Dietrich Wise Jr. Malik Collins with a sack and a half. Nick Bosa with a sack. Evan Anderson with a sack. Niners stomping all over those Patriots with 6 sacks. Congratulations. San Francisco getting to 2-2. What the heck is going on? Yeah, I think they lost to a really crummy team last week, if I remember correctly. Where you're just like, what? Like, it's one thing to lose to the Vikings in, U.S. Bank Stadium, but they lost to I don't even remember who it was last week. I'm blanking now. Probably don't even want to remember. I could probably pull that up here momentarily. I remember being like, what just happened? Like, why? Why are you losing to these guys? Well, no, I'm taking forever here. My apologies. So, while this is loading and doing its thing, Las Vegas Raiders get a rare win, their second win of the year, and the Cleveland Browns dropped a 1-3, 20-16 in Vegas, Allegiant Stadium. And, well, let's welcome the Oakland Athletics to Las Vegas, as now Las Vegas is going to steal a second team from the city of Oakland, if you can believe it. The Oakland Athletics. Las Vegas Athletics will be playing baseball in Vegas next year in a stadium that looks a lot like U.S. Bank Stadium, at least from the interior, as you're going to get kind of that glass, like, outside-ish look, if you know what I mean. It's kind of cool. It seems to be a thing. I mean, the Vegas Raiders also have that look. Yeah, you can see it in the background, actually, as I'm seeing replays here of this one. So there is a bit of that going on, that type of stuff. It is interesting, no doubt. But yeah, the Oakland A's will be Las Vegas. I've only known them as the Oakland A's my entire life. Oh, it was the Rams. Okay, that's not a terrible loss last week. It was just terribly executed down the stretch. It was really disappointing, I guess. Kind of like the Browns today. I mean, really, you lost to the Vegas Raiders. They ain't the Vegas Golden Knights, let me tell you. Though they do have one of the best kickers in the world. Thank you very much, Zimmer and Spielman, for doing what you did there. See the game? He's Alexander Madison, 5 rushes, 60 yards. What? That's an urban legend right there. 5 rushes, 60 yards for Alexander Madison? Really? 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 You've got to be kidding. Deshaun Watson, yuck. I mean, another interception, another touchdown. It's mediocre. I don't even have much to say about him. Judge Jerry Jeudy, 6 catches, 72 yards for Cleveland. Only Blake Whiteheart with a touchdown and 13 yards. Yay. I don't know. Alexander Madison with 5 carries and 60 yards. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, really funny. Gardner Minshew, just look at that. 130 yards passing. Anyhow, let's get off of this one. It's putting me to sleep. I'm not even kidding. You could kind of tell that it's putting me to sleep. AFC West matchup here. The Chiefs go into Los Angeles Chargers land, SoFi Stadium. I guess it's SoFi Stadium. Yay. The Chargers were up 10-0. What do you think happened? The Chiefs won 17-10. Is that all you need to know? Mahomes, another mediocre game. Looked just like whatever, one of the other guys that threw for a touchdown and an interception. Just mediocre day. But clutch as heck. Just clutch. That's Patrick Mahomes now. He's not doing the 4 touchdowns, 350-yard stuff anymore. He's doing the 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 245, and they still win the game. It's pretty much what happened in the Super Bowl. It's pretty much what happened like half of the year last year, and they still made the playoffs and they still won the game. And that tight end that shall not be named, 7 catches and 89 yards. Ugh, but didn't get in the end zone, thankfully, but I'm sure made a jackass of himself most of the way. Kareem, wait a minute. Am I seeing this correctly? Kareem Hunt's on the Chiefs, isn't he? Kareem Hunt is on the Chiefs. The same Kareem Hunt that got in trouble and was cut by the Chiefs years ago. And a lot of us are thinking, oh man, that's a big loss. And then they went and won the Super Bowl comfortably and did it 2 more times. Well, they didn't win comfortably in the game, but they won the Super Bowl regardless. Justin Herbert has become just a run-of-the-mill guy. So all this Jim Harbaugh is going to go there and perform some serious magic here. And Justin Herbert's going to be the next, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, et al. No, 27 attempts, 16 completions, 173 yards, and a touchdown. Exquisite. Absolutely exquisite. Now, Kansas City has a very stingy defense. They have the best defensive coordinator I've maybe ever seen. He beat Tom Brady twice. No, he beat him once in the Super Bowl. I don't think they used the Giants coordinator when they won the second time. I don't think he did. No, he was He was coaching the Rams. Yuck. The Rams. Oh, and that didn't work out. He's not a head coach, but he's an unbelievable coordinator. That'd be Steve Spagnuolo. I hate that he's on the Chiefs, but man, I have so much respect for that guy. I really do. 2 sacks for Chris Jones at the Chiefs. Yuck. Really annoying. I remember him getting that on us, and I remember him doing that in the Super Bowl. I just don't want to remember it at all. Bud Dupree, 2 sacks for Lechaja. Khalil Mack, no sacks, but some tackles, I guess. Yay. Anyhow, the Chiefs are 4-0. And the Chargers are 2-2. The Chiefs are 4-0. And this is with Mahomes, with Mahomes putting up like Gardner Minshew numbers, Well, maybe a little better than that, but not much. Not much. I mean, like Gardner Minshew, Deshaun Watson, whoever the heck else, Carr, whatever, Derek Carr numbers. Carr usually gets a decent amount of yards, but whatever. Well, that's in the NFL, generally speaking. And then you have the Jets, and we're going to look at the Jets last, when the Vikings played Green Bay. And Detroit plays tomorrow. So there's your NFC North roundup right here. A rematch of the NFC Championship game in 1990, I do believe, right? The Rams. I think the Bears shut them out, if I remember correctly. The LA Rams, I think they were there, right? But they had no chance. And it was a cold day in Chicago. Chicago wasn't exactly warm that day. And it was the 85 Bears defense. I do believe the Rams got shut out in that one. It was bad. Oh, it was bad. But the Bears were good. Oh, they were good. Caleb Williams actually pretty efficient. Not bad. 23 attempts, 17 completions, 157 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Good job, Caleb. 106 quarterback rating. And who won the football game? Who won? The Bears. The Bears beat the Rams. The Bears beat the Rams just like they did in 1985. Only 39 years ago, but yeah, it still counts, right? Right? Rams with 18 points. Yep, I know. Matthew Stafford, 29 attempts, 20 completions, 224, and an INT, no touchdowns. But Kyren Williams is one of the best running backs in the league. 5 yards a carry, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Tutu Atwell, well, he's okay. Good job. Obviously, the Rams have been struggling with the injuries with 2 major guys like Cooper Kupp and the other guy that with the cool name rolls off your tongue. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough, but Tutu Atwell at least did something for the Rams. But generally speaking, the Bears got the job done, and you know what? Good for them. Bless their hearts, as someone might say. DeAndre Swift with 72 yards receiving and 93 rushing with a touchdown. Good job. And did not lose the ball either. Well played. Well played. Bears back to 500. Not bad. They're tied with their oldest rival. Their arch rival is probably Green Bay, but in a lot of ways, I think the Vikings and Packers have like a more fierce rivalry than the Bears and Packers. But it's certainly the oldest rivalry in the NFL because they go back to the beginning. They are original type of teams. It's like the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like old to the core. Old, ancient. It's Methuselah versus Enoch or something. Okay, I'm just kidding. Methuselah was Enoch's son. But it's kind of like that, though. It's kind of like that. I won't say Cain versus Abel. I don't like how things turned out there. Poor Abel. And I'm not being sarcastic at all, honestly. But the Bears, they look like something. I mean, there's pieces there. Obviously, DJ Moore, talented receiver. And you know what? I'm happy for Caleb Williams to kind of be showing some early signs here. Like, it's not utter devastation like Bryce Young in North Carolina. Because, I don't know, when you like number 1 overall pick, there's a lot of pressure. It might not be the best organization at the moment. But I think the Bears are pretty well run. I mean, they're not great, but I don't know. I'd rather see the Bears do something than suck, honestly. And I know that might sound weird to a lot of people listening to this show right now, that Vikings podcast. What, you want the Bears to be good? Well, I don't want them to be like 2-15. Put it that way. I don't know. It's like takes the fun out of things. Doesn't it though? Don't you want them to at least like be somewhat representative? Don't you? Kind of like I'm sure over in the other division, I don't know. I mean, some people want to see the Rams go 0-17, but other people, it's kind of a cool rivalry, like Niners and Rams. Like it's like back in the day, you know, because the Rams were kind of good in the '80s and the Niners were elite, that kind of thing. So, anyhow, go Bears, I guess. Good job. I guess. Congratulations on the win. Halftime on Sunday Night Football, 21-3. Baltimore stymieing the Buffalo Bills right now in Baltimore, Maryland. And yeah, it's crucial turnovers and such with the, what a mess. So yeah, even the Mahomes interception, there was a fumble. Yeah, wow. Yeah, let's look at the Jets now. That's the upcoming opponent. The Jets could not beat the Denver Broncos. What the dang heck is going on here? And that means the Broncos have a tiebreaker if it matters, if these two teams are actually going to go to the postseason. The Jets should make the playoffs when you consider who their quarterback is, even at age 40. They should be a potential threat to make the playoffs. They're not that terrible, are they? They have a decent running back and a really damn super good defense. Like, it's a great defense in the Jets land. Denver, yeah, come on, man. Denver, give me a break. Bo Nix, 60 yards. 60 yards. Bo Nix, 60 yards. Wow. He threw for a touchdown, did not turn the ball over, so good for him. And he also ran for 3. Bo Nix ran for 3 yards and 5 carries. Exquisite. Absolutely great. 65 total yards, man. 25 passes and 5 rushes. So that's 30 total attempts, in generally speaking, for a total of 65 yards by Bo Nix. And the Broncos won the game. Wow. Wow. Breece Hall, pardon me. Yes, Denver's defense is really good, and that's why they won the Super Bowl when Peyton Manning was there. But that's 9 years ago. Come on, right? Cortland Sutton, who I put on the bench today. Boy, I feel smart right now. 60 yards and a touchdown. Oh, what the slang. Breece Hall. Yeah, thanks, Breece. I really appreciate you very much today. 10 rushes, 4 yards. 10 rushes, 4 yards. Wow. Aaron Rodgers attempted 42 passes, 225. No interceptions, but mediocre, run-of-the-mill. Might as well have been, what are these, some of these guys, like Bollinger, Brooks Bollinger or something years ago? Might as well have been Brooks Bollinger. Like, seriously. Might as well. Might as well have been Zach Wilson, who's the backup over there in Denver now. This is the Zach Wilson Bowl. And it was very Zach Wilson-like, except there wasn't a bunch of interceptions. In fact, there were 0 interceptions in the game, if you can believe it. Alan Lazard, trying to rise like Lazarus. 5 catches and 58 yards, no touchdowns. Mike Williams, this is the Jets, of course. 4 catches, 67 yards. Tyler Conklin, 4 catches, 17 yards. The Jets with 0 sacks in the game. The Broncos with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sacks in the game. Nick Bonito was one of them. Yeah, I don't know, man. Whew. Looks like a safety blitz there, or a corner blitz, secondary blitz. PJ Locke, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. Either way, it's just funny and sad at the same time how all this turned out. Yes, he is a safety. It was a safety blitz by PJ Locke. Pretty good game, actually, by him. As he doubled his tackle total in the game. He was elite. Great game for PJ Locke of the Denver Broncos, including a corner blitz or safety blitz that wound up with a sack. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. But that's what we're going to be playing next week for the New York Jets. 8:30 a.m. Central Daylight Savings Time in the Twin Cities here. New York Jets have the best helmets in the NFL, in my opinion. Yes, they do. History between the Vikings and the Jets. Yes, it goes, the Jets have been around forever. They are 8-4 historically against the Vikings, of course, because AFC and NFC, you don't play each other that often, and we've both been in the same conference forever. Vikings have a 3-game winning streak over the New York Jets, dating back to 2014, 10 whole years ago. So the Jets haven't beat us since 2010. That ugly, that was that close? I thought we got our asses handed to us. Huh. That was that rainy night in New York. 29-20. I thought we got our asses handed to us in that game. Maybe we caught up? Yeah, weird. That was that nasty rainy night. I think the Vikings had just gotten Percy Harvin or something. It was raining like hell. Or no, not Percy Harvin. We were getting Moss, I think. Or we hadn't gotten Moss yet. I can't remember. Yep, we had gotten Moss. That was the debut. He actually had 81 yards in that game. Impressive. And a touchdown. Percy Harvin was excellent. That's what brought the Vikings back in. I think we were getting our asses kicked. 9-0. Yeah, it was only 9-0. Yeah, well, whatever. The Jets took a 12-0 lead. Boring. But then the Vikings, yeah, Percy Harvin had some good numbers, and the Vikings still had a chance, but wound up losing the football game. So that's probably the most notable one recently. Brett Favre returning to New York for the first time since all that information came out the year after the Vikings acquired Favre. Yeah. The Jets had beaten the Vikings how many games in a row, dating all the way back to the 1970s. The Vikings hadn't beaten the Jets, so when the Vikings finally won that 30-24 victory in 2014, December 7th, and we beat the Jets that year, in an overtime victory. This was in Minnesota. The Vikings hadn't beaten the Jets since 1975. Dang. 29-21. A pretty good Vikings team. 29-21 win. And then the Vikings would lose 7 consecutive games to the Jets that lasted for, 1975 to 2014. Unbelievable. That's a long time. Holy cow, man. It's crazy. Crazy, absolutely nuts. Wow, that is really something. When you think about that, some nasty low-scoring games, handing the ball off and we'd lose. I remember cursing at Dennis Green when, we handed the ball off. We were down 23-21 and we handed the ball off. I believe it was Robert Smith got gobbled up. I remember Brad Johnson had been playing really well. He was on fire. Robert Smith got gobbled up. The running game didn't work the entire day, and we lost by 2. So we went for it instead of trying to kick a field goal to win the game. We went for 2, or we went for it. Excuse me, not went for 2, but tried to get in the end zone, running the ball 4 yards away, and ran out of clock. And the media asked Dennis Green basically, "What are you doing?" And Dennis Green started cursing at the media like, "You've been picking on me forever." Da 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 da. Still remember that one. And that was during that massive collapse late in the season where the Vikings finally would win the season finale over a hapless Colts team, make the playoffs, and then have that miracle in the Meadowlands, whatever, if that's where it was, beating the Giants, a very mediocre Giants team with onside kicks and stuff like that, only to get drubbed by the Niners the next week. But at least we won a playoff game for the first time in Dennis Green's coaching tenure. So yay, let's extend him for 15 years so he could take a knee in 98. Yeah, thanks, Denny. Always going to remember that one very positively. Sorry, I'm going down memory lane here a little bit. Because, when you play a team like this that you've only played 12 times in, 55 years, 54 years, it's kind of cool. But the Vikings actually have a 3-game win streak against this club, and I think the win streak continues. I really do. The victory, I remember, this was Sam Darnold, rookie Sam Darnold. It was a beautiful, chilly day in New York, if I remember correctly. Why am I so confused in my head right now? I'm getting something mixed up. Yeah, it was a beautiful, chilly day in New York. There was some cold little, there it is. Jeez. There were some cold little snow flurries coming down. It was just one of those chilly fall days where sometimes you see some snow flurries. And the Vikings beat the Jets pretty handily. This guy named Sam Darnold, he was a rookie. He threw 3 interceptions. I remember that. I just knew it by memory. And then, there it is. Latavius Murray rushed for 69 yards and got in the end zone twice. Impressive. Again, this is the 2018 Vikings, so definitely not as good of a team. Kirk Cousins, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. 241 yards. Sam Darnold, rookie Sam Darnold, attempted 42 passes and completed only 17 of them. He was awful. He was sacked 3 times. His quarterback rating was 34.4. So now Sam Darnold returns to No, we're going to play against the Jets, but in England. So we will not be playing in New York. This, I believe, was this was the first Vikings win ever on the road versus the New York Jets. Because 1970 it was at New York, loss. 79, God, 9 frickin' years later, loss. Yeah, 97, it took that long. My God, we hadn't, so 79 to 97, the Vikings didn't play at New York Jets, basically, is what I'm trying to say. 79 to 97? Oh my God. I was less than 3 months old. October 15, 1979. And then I was in my senior year in high school the next time we played the Jets in New York. That is nuts when you think about the gaps here. The gaps in time. It's weird. It's kind of cool. 3 months old to a senior in high school. And I cursed at the TV on the kitchen table, and my mom was there, and she yelled at me really bad because I called them, "You G darn idiots." Just fill in the blanks. And she didn't take that very well. So, no, she didn't. Yeah, that was bad. Anyhow, let's get to the matchup a little bit here. The Vikings should be able, I think, to take care of this team. I don't think they're that good. I don't think a whole lot of us believe they are. Breece Hall, obviously, is a talented running back. Certainly did not have a good day today. And I got to hope we're going to be confident in this Vikings defense. The points given up were partially because of some egregious errors by the offense. You know, like turnovers, like in the red zone. Yeah, that gave the other team the ball. You know, that in the red zone, so they could score in like 1 or 2 plays. Yeah, that's why the score was so bloated. It wasn't because the Vikings defense was terrible. It's because the Vikings offense was like, I don't know. When they weren't good, they were stupid. They were, and of course the special teams as well. It's not just the offense making mistakes. It was Jalen Naylor, who's generally on offense and not on special teams. He completely misplayed the ball, tried to go for a fair catch when he had no business doing that. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're up by 28. You can be conservative. It's okay. You don't have to be aggressive when you're up by 28, because that's when you make dumb mistakes and the other team gains life when they have no business gaining life. So, I mean, it's kind of a similar thing here with the Jets. The Vikings should be able to take care of business. Aaron Rodgers clearly, is capable of putting up some spectacular numbers, but he's also capable of games like today, where it just wasn't anything to write home about at all. Very mediocre, to say the least. Very mediocre. Leading into today, he had 624 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. That's pretty good. And today, there's no touchdowns or interceptions. But it wasn't an overall good day for A-Raj, as we like to call him. No touchdowns or interceptions, just added another 225. So around 900 yards, still 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. So good, generally speaking, but I don't expect A-Raj to put up anything spectacular against this Vikings defense. I think the Vikings, obviously, again, I think the pass rush on A-Raj should be decent. He's not going to be as mobile as he was in the past, but yeah, the Broncos, what did they get? 5 sacks on him. So you get a decent pass rush on A-Raj, 4 or 5 sacks, even 3, I think should be enough to keep them being the Packers in a position where things won't be so great. It's just not going to. Did I call them the Packers, the Jets? Because they're green also. That's what's confusing here. Obviously, Alan Lazard, Mike Williams guys, Garrett Wilson. There's some guys there. Tyler Conklin going against his former club, but I just don't see this Jets team beating the Vikings, whether it's in England, New York, or Minneapolis, Minnesota. I just don't. I think the Vikings go to 5-0, which is so cool, and we're going to be very happy. Some of us will be in church and keeping up with the game while we're in church as best possible, or have the game on silent and listening to the church. I don't know. Listening to church while the game's on silent. If we say, say you have church on YouTube, I don't know. Or you're at church and have the game, that would look bad, but yeah. So whatever you do, it is what it is. But I do believe the Vikings win the game. I don't expect it to be super high scoring because the Jets defense is very good, but definitely beatable. And the Vikings will have a 4-game win streak on the Jets, getting out to 8-5 all time in our 13th matchup. This will be in London. There will be no sticky wicket, but it might be a sticky wicket because of lower scoring, which can make things semi-interesting. 24-17 victory for the Minnesota Vikings. 24-14 victory for Minnesota. A 10-point win for the Vikings. double score win for the Minnesota Vikings. This is not going to be a nail biter, I would hope, but one way or another, the Vikings will get the job done. Rodgers will throw for a touchdown or two, but so will Sam Darnold at the end of the day. Obviously, it's a talented Jets team. You can run on this team from what I gather here. I mean, the Broncos averaged what? I mean, just a couple of carries here. How many carries? They ran the ball 25 times and managed some pretty good yardage here. 123 yards on 25 carries. That's not bad. Didn't get in the end zone, but almost 5 yards a carry. So the pass defense, obviously, there's definitely a great secondary there in New York. That's their strength. We always talk about some of these studs there in New York. They have some very tough guys, obviously. Chaz Surratt's a good one. At least we'd like to believe he is. No, he's not. He was a Viking pick that didn't work out, but he's doing okay there. I'm just playing around. Chaz Surratt, so that's another Viking. I was like, I know that name. Yeah, that son of a gun. That's pretty funny. But I don't know. There's obviously talented players there. That's who I'm looking at. Sauce Gardner, yeah, he's like one of the best cornerbacks in football. 4th overall pick by the Jets in 2022. Yeah, he's one of the absolute stud cornerbacks in football. So that's somebody to worry about. Again, you're more likely to be able to get some yardage. So Aaron Jones will beat Aaron by being on the ground, hopefully a 100-plus yard game. Or you get to see some Ty Chandler action where he maybe runs for 50 or something. Like he's loose, like PA would say. So Vikings win 24-14 over the New York Jets and go to 5-0 and win our 4th game in a row versus the New York Jets historically. With that, we're going to take a quick break and come back for some fan interaction. And we are back here on Purple Mafia, segment number 3, fan interaction segment. We're going to open up with the Twitter account, or X, at Purple Mafia Show, at Purple Mafia Show. I think I already mentioned this one. Okay, I was looking at something from last week. So Matt Martin jumped in around Monday. He was saying, it really has a feel of 2007, washed up quarterback and a crazy good defense. That you mean like Sam, at the time it was Sam Bradford opening things up, right? What we've seen is a total team effort so far. But we don't have a washed-up quarterback right now, do we? I don't know. I don't think we do. No, I'm guessing he meant like the other Sam, though. The upgrades coming in with not having to pay Cousins, yeah, like McCarthy, that's going to be awesome. Love these victories where we have to put our collective feet on the opposition. No scrapping a win. Yep. Today it was annoying that we had to do that. Matt Martin was saying, I don't want to think about 2006 from a 5-0 start to 8-8. Not a season I want to remember. Yeah, I understand that. Totally. Yep. I was saying I'm leaning towards 2006, like what it could have been. Yeah, meaning they could have been really good. I was saying those first 5 games feel like unfinished business from that year. I swear that team would have been better if things didn't snowball the way they did. Matt Martin does not want to remember that. Yep. And RB, okay, that's a new one. Says the early bye worries me. Can see a situation where we are 5-0 but come back from the bye a little rusty. Oh, I hope not. So nice to meet you, RB. I think I've heard of him before though, right? Oh, maybe not. I'm gonna follow back. Okay, cool. Bed Martin says I'm with you there. Oh, he was responding to. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, he was responding to RB. Okay, cool. Nice to meet you, RB. Just in case you're a listener and we're not just tweeting back and forth. Yeah, cool. Nice to meet you, RB. Cool. Let's go. Matt Barnes says, love the podcast, Joey. Thanks for the gold star. I've not done a call-in because I was going to do one wasn't going to do one until they lost. So no disrespect if I don't call in this season. Now, that would be ultimately brilliant. Skull, yep, like say it's a good luck charm type of thing. Yep. Well, hopefully they don't lose. Not that I don't want you to call in. Just, yeah, Vikings winning is number one, right? We continue. Matt Martin says, yep, again from Northern Scotland. To be fair, I have lots of positive things to say, but it's bloody hard work, a tweet. Don't get down. I'm sure plenty of people are catching your podcast. Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I was like thinking because of all the, shadow banning and such, which is real, by the way, unfortunately. It is, because it's gotten weird. Man Martin continues, says, what I will say, Joey, is that half the fan base was right about Cousins the day he left. Was the day was the day we got nearer winning a Super Bowl, and how bloody good does that feel? Yeah, I mean, exactly, because with Kirk Cousins, clearly you're not going to win. Like, Atlanta's not going to win anything. They'll be lucky to get to the first round and lose, and that's nothing to brag about. It's crazy. That's all the Vikings did. Well, the Vikings advanced that one year, yes, and that's Kirk Cousins' only playoff win in his entire career. And Washington wasn't exactly awful the whole time he was there. They were at least competitive. So, yeah, they lost to a mediocre Green Bay team, if you can remember that correctly. Mad Martin was saying, don't you love a good blowout? If we can stay injury-free, who knows what the season could bring? And then now we get to today. That was kind of like responses during the middle of the week or so. Mad Martin says, holy hell, this is unreal. Loving it. And the Vikings were just putting the pound on. I was saying, isn't this fun? Wow. Mad Martin says, it's fabulous. Dave Vicky out of Iowa says, Green Bay game day. This one's big. I started to watch the game 4 minutes in because I was watching Mass with Father Dave on YouTube. He's great and a huge Viking fan. So as soon as I tune in, first play touchdown to Addison. Now we're up 14-0. Love it. Yep, isn't that cool? Oh, yeah. And then the other thing, quick, before I'll get back to Dave Hickey. It was Mad Martin up saying, truly one of my pet peeves, because I had put out this from Saturday. Don't you just love people that absolutely have to be on their phone even while walking in a busy place? Hashtag arrogance. Yep, I hate it. Oh, I hate it. Mad Martin was saying, this is truly one of my pet peeves. Yep, my pet hates. I was saying, me too. My blood comes to a boil, and it happens constantly at work. In every condition possible. Yeah, like they'll just walk right in your way, or like just don't acknowledge anybody. It's all about them. It's annoying. But also of course in public parking lots. Yeah, it's really rude. Walking diagonally, a parking lot, that should be like walking diagonally in a parking lot should be a felony. Like, it's that stupid. Gosh, it should be. Anyhow, oh, that's really cool though. That's really cool, Dave, about Father Dave, yeah, watching Mass with Father Dave. Yep, that's pretty cool, and he's a Viking fan as well. Dave Hickey again says, I figured Sam wasn't as bad as people said. Matter of fact, I told coworkers and family that I think he's going to be good, and sure looks like it, doesn't he? Mad Martin says, another 7 before the half would be absolutely delicious, and to think all it took was a change of quarterback and then a few extra pieces on defense. Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Dave Hickey continuing, saying, amazing play by both sides of the ball. Just one screw up before the half. We don't need to keep the gas on the pedal in the second half. Or we just need to keep the gas on the pedal, yeah. But unfortunately, the Vikings did not control the clock real well. And eventually, the Packers started to really catch up in that fourth quarter. It's a damn shame. I don't know. It was stupid. Dave Hickey continues, saying, I'm not liking this. Down to a 6-point lead when we were up 28-0. Well, this is what we need from Sam Darnold, a long time-consuming drive for a touchdown. It ended up being a long time-consuming drive for a field goal, but thankfully it was enough at the end of the day. Tanae Brown out of New Zealand says, I remember when Darnold was with the Panthers. He was brilliant fantasy football-wise until week 5. Seems like he's imploding at a similar time again. Need to get to the finish line here. Gotta get the ball in Jefferson's hands and get Jones going. Well, yep. You pretty much nailed exactly what happened there. Good job today. Right on time, and you were dead on. Byron Murphy with back-to-back huge plays. The way he punched the ball out was awesome, and yes, it was. Forcing that batted ball. Yep, that was great. The pass deflection, of course, the interception before that. Awesome, isn't it? Yep, big plays by Murphy to help us win that football game. Matt Martin was saying, absolutely, but the second half has been hard to watch. Absolutely. Yep, I said Byron Murphy, gold star. Yep, Byron Murphy gets a gold star, that's for sure. Matt Martin continues, saying that was too close for comfort. For one moment, I thought we might have to I might have to make a call in, but a win's a win. Final thing, what the Packers were able to do was put some serious pressure on Sam in the second half. Was like watching him in the Jets uniform or Panthers uniform. We have to hope he doesn't start to regress, and that's for damn sure. But at least he was clutch down the stretch there in that final drive that ended up putting us in the victory. Not the final drive, but you know what I mean. The drive that put the Vikings in position to take a 9-point lead. Incredibly crucial. To the Facebook page, Purple Mafia on Facebook. Purple Mafia show, not slash, but line, Minnesota Vikings show is basically what's going on there. Trying to get this to load here. Sorry. The in-game thread. Any response to the true blowout? Yes, there was. Mark Carlson out of Iowa says, and that's why this podcast is so important to me. When I'm out of town and miss the broadcast, this helps me better understand the box score I see on my phone. Thank you, Joey, for hosting such a cool show for all these years, and everyone that shares their thoughts and comments, including you, Mark. Yep. When you're out on the road to nowhere and exploring on Sunday afternoons, you might miss the game, and I find the show most helpful. Now that I said all that, where in the schedule, Paladino Joey, will the Vikings meet their first defeat? I hope not this week, not Packer week. Dear Lord, I hope not this week, and I'm glad it wasn't. Boy, it almost was. And lastly, Joey, I can't advise on what happened here on Facebook. It was such a good and active group. Anyway, don't get bogged down with analytics. Just keep producing the best and most interactive Vikings podcast out there. And thank you to that. That is wonderful. Yep, he said Mark from Iowa. And bless you, Mark. That was awesome. I really appreciate that. Now for the in-game thread of today's game. Again, next week is going to be an odd time. So reminders for all of us, including myself, believe it or not. What was I saying? This is absolutely unreal. Shades of 98. Mark Carlson says, maybe the oddest game I can remember watching. Mark says, okay, let's see if I can make this a little more chronologically accurate. Shoot. Yeah, Mark was saying there is some real smoke in Green Bay right now. Update on the major fire in Green Bay. It's now a 5-alarm fire threatening to burn down the entire town. It's official. There's a major fire in Green Bay right now. We can see the smoke from western Iowa. Mike Dale out of the New York area was saying, pinch me. He's saying, I'm absolutely tickled pink. Oh, I like that. Yep. On how this team has been playing. To be frank, I never saw this coming back in week 1. I honestly don't know how to proceed and process all this because I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah, unfortunately, that's how a lot of us think around here. And he's not from Minnesota, but yeah, he being a Viking fan, he basically is. Because, yeah. Where Darnold is going to start throwing interceptions again, like they're going out of style. Yeah, I'm afraid of that. Yep. And then Mike Dale, one more, says, there's the Vikings I know. Yep, meaning everything's starting to go downhill, and it really sucks, and it's depressing. Mark Carlson says, halftime, and I already have seen so many things blow up in Green Bay, and adding to the blaze, the coach gets, unsportsmanlike penalty. It's like a dream. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny how all that turned out, and boy, things could have been really a problem there. Yeah. Great comments. That was fun. That was one of the better Facebook interactions so far. I believe there's going to be some post-game, and yes, there is. Glad. I remember last week it was just dead on here. I couldn't believe it. It was heartbreaking. I was like, oh, man. So thank you guys for coming back. I really appreciate all of you. Okay. Looks like Mark, Tanae, Mark again, and there's Mike Dale. Yep. Mike Dale with a post-game symphony. I just love these. And I'm absolutely not kidding. I think they're awesome. Mark's got a big one here to lead things off. I am sure there will be comments saying on how the same old Vikings team is playing again this year, and I suppose they're not wrong. The team let Green Bay back in the game in the second half. It's true. I have to say the team built a fire in the first quarter that turned into a major fire by the half. except for that stupid fumble, right? That was me saying that. And there was nothing, and there was nothing going right for our rival team. I was particularly happy when the coach took an unsportsmanlike penalty. It was funny. I hope the team will be healthy and in good shape to play in London next week. Thankfully, again, it's Sunday and not like Thursday or anything like that. One more comment. I am sure there are lots of cheeseheads that are not happy today. I recall how arrogant some Packer fans have been. Maybe most. Yeah, it feels like it. Once I was in the big city for a Wild versus Jets game, so Wild versus the Winnipeg Jets. Cool. And hanging out at a very popular sports bar near the stadium and sharing a table with strangers as there was no room. The Vikings were playing on the big screen. Boy, how arrogant. So that would be like Green Bay people. Boy, how arrogant. I love the rivalry, though. Skull Joey and Purple Mafia Show fans worldwide. Yep. Thank you so much. And speaking of worldwide, Tanae Brown out of New Zealand says, really felt the team lost focus trying to get Aaron Jones a touchdown in the second half. Glad we got the win, though. Incredible first half. Incredibly bad second until that final play. Yeah, the final drive. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. Mark Carlson responded to Tanae Brown saying, your comment about Jones is on target. Yeah. It was kind of like the Wild when they were told, let's try to get this guy a hat trick. And then we'd like make stupid plays and be too tired. Certain guys would be on the ice too long. That was Zach Parise. Yeah, just stupid play. And he got in trouble. I remember he got suspended for a game or something by the coach. Right move, actually. Anyhow, this was years ago. Your comment about Jones is on target. He was fed the ball over and over, and especially on that late game red zone drive. I guess if it is working, do it. However, I felt it lacked surprise. Yeah, like if you run too much in Tecmo Bowl, eventually they put like 8 men in a box, and you're dead. Anyhow, could have done something different. Perhaps when that amazing tight end Hawkinson gets back, we will see more lethal red zone offense. I hope so. So here we are. Mike Dale is ready to take it away here in a second. I want to check something really quick. Make sure if there's any interactions on Instagram. Because I like to save Mike Dale's comment for last. Yeah, because his post-game stuff is awesome. Not that anybody else's isn't, because you guys are great too. Oh, okay. Looks like Tanae is on the Instagram as well. This is great to see. Here's some Instagram responses. So I'll be right back with you, Mike Dale. Tanae says, a couple of post-game responses. Or this is in-game, but it's okay. Probably should have checked this earlier. This has been the most complete first half of football I've ever seen from the Vikings. I wonder how different this game would be if the Packers didn't drop that pick on the first drive. Yeah, there was that. And I didn't mention that in the first segment. An interception almost was had. That could have been really bad. It was really early. That could have been bad. Yeah. Bad. Good. I'm glad to see some interaction on here. Yep, it's Tanae. And thank you, Tanae. I think that's awesome. Thank you so much. So all three social media for Purple Mafia Show, we're active on today's show. In a game like today, it's a big game. So hopefully that kind of stuff continues. I think that's cool. So Instagram is simply Purple Mafia Show. Easy to find. And it is in the show description. A link to the Facebook page is in there as well, along with, of course, Twitter at Purple Mafia Show. Simple stuff. Mike Dale, New York area, the state, not the city. Take it away. He's responding to Tanae, saying, definitely took the foot off the gas and didn't take the Packers seriously in the second half. I felt like the momentum had completely shifted and were kind of lost when it seemed like they were trying to kill the game off. Kevin O'Connell is going to need to reconsider how to play their opponents when defending a big lead. Yes, as infrequent as it may have been, I was a little nervy there for about 5 minutes. Oh, I was too. Yeah, for about 5 minutes in the fourth. All in all, I'm delighted to grab a big W at Lambeau. Yes. It felt like 98 for a while there when the Vikings went and whooped up on the Packers in Lambeau Field. Like too much moss in the end zone. That was fun. I remember those memories. So some of us that are old enough, some of us are not. But no, the great interaction today, guys. Mad Martin, Tanae, Mike Dale, Dave Hickey, Mark Carlson. That's 5 people right there. All of you are just awesome. Oh, I mean, Man, where do I go today? Where do I go today? Man, that's tough. Mark Carlson, I think, gets the gold today. Man, jeez. I mean, you guys all deserve the gold. I'm not even kidding. Every one of you deserve the gold. But it's like day to day, that kind of thing, shuffling around. Today, Sure, absolutely. Today and Mad Martin will get the silver. Oh, and Dave Hickey is basically like silver also. I mean, you know what I mean? Just awesome. And I'm not trying to diminish anything either. I think I just think that highly of all five of you guys. You guys are so, Mike Dale, of course. Yep. Mike Dale is like a gold-plated silver, I think so highly of you guys, it's not even funny. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, it's so awesome. I can't say enough how much I appreciate you guys. I mean, you guys are like pillars to the show. Absolutely. I mean, every one of you is in the Purple Mafia Hall of Fame. And, of course, with losing the Facebook page, now that there's a new one here, but it's not as many people, unfortunately. But I think eventually it'll build. It could take 50 years, but it'll build up. I'm just joking. But you guys are all, like, straight up Hall of Fame, like first ballot type of thing. Like, once you're on the ballot, you're in, that kind of thing. Whereas, like, certain people hadn't been here as long, so they weren't going to go in like 5 seconds. So it's like the whole ballot thing. So... So that's kind of the thought process there. But yeah, last year I don't think I didn't have any new entries because there was, we lost the Facebook page, and the Instagram was brand new, just getting started, and the Twitter was shadow banned, and Facebook is, I don't know, funky still kind of brand new. Like, yeah, now it's like brand new again, kind of like the Instagram. So it's tough. It is what it is. I'm not too bummed. But at the same time, it's still kind of weird. It is what it is. But you guys still keep me busy, though, don't you? So, which is good. Like today, it was definitely a busy fan interaction. It really was. Just didn't have to have like 500 comments. Like some of that. Sometimes if it gets to be too many, there's no way you can read all of them. If a show ever got big enough like that. Like obviously, the comments on like the YouTube page for Score North, like vent line, whatever. There's no way in hell they can respond to all that. It's like thousands of people. So I'm not quite there. Over 1,000 people listen to the show, yeah. But thousands of people commenting, that's a little different. With that said, though, can't thank you guys enough. Really enjoying the weather here up in this neck of the woods. Hopefully it's nice over there in northern Scotland and in New Zealand as well. I believe New Zealand, they're moving into summer pretty soon. It's like spring there. That must be really cool. Oh, I love spring. Oh, I absolutely love spring. Because obviously Mad Martin is still in the northern hemisphere, whereas Tanae Brown's in the southern hemisphere. So it's like opposite seasons, if you know what I mean. So it's like spring there right now. Here it's obviously just starting fall. Hope you're enjoying yourselves out there. I can imagine Mark wanting to be outside more than inside. Believe me, I've been outside more than half of the time that I've been keeping up with these games. Because thankfully with modern technology, that's possible. It's not like you have to carry a huge heavy tube TV outside to watch a game outside and pray for the best with a reception and stuff. Things are different nowadays. So being outside and keeping up with the game, watching the game is more feasible. You could even be right in front of a lake or on the lake and watch the game. Pretty cool. You can even be in the lake as long as you don't drop your device into the lake or your earbuds. So convenient, isn't it? Pretty cool, isn't it? So, yeah. So with that said, really appreciate every one of you. Just gonna keep saying that. Looking forward to this season, and just let's see what this brings. Let's keep riding this train. Let's keep riding this run, and hope it continues. Hope it never ends. Hope this is finally the year. This is the American Pharaoh. Like, this is finally the one. Wouldn't that be cool? With that said, have yourself a wonderful week, and we'll be seeing you in England, and hope to avoid those sticky wickets. Until next time, take care.